The Green Bay Packers just get some fantastic news. They absolutely have an escape hatch, and they're going to be in the driver's seat in free agency, even though like the rest of the NFL thinks like they're over the cap and they're in cap purgatory. They're absolutely not. And they got the guy that everybody wants, who's like somehow still the star of a Pro Bowl from a wheelchair. We got a ton to break down in this video. If you're new to the channel, this is the NFC North Guys. I'm Ben. I'm a diehard Broncos fan, but when all my friends were like, hey, we love the Lions and the Vikings and the Bears, I'm like, those teams are the worst, and I love the Packers. So this is NFC North dudes. If you love NFC North content and want it daily, like and subscribe. Let's dive in here. So we got to start off with just Radio Row, and you cannot help but get wildly hyped when you actually see what the rest of the NFL actually thinks about the Chicago Bears. Like, about the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears, which we're going to talk about. But it feels like all of my Packers friends are in hiding, and they're like, our window's closed. We're going to be bad. Like, we didn't win one this year. And I'm just telling you, take your heads out of the sand. You are the front runners to win the North, and unbiased people are coming out and saying that, even on Chicago podcasts. So you have Kyle Long swing by the set of CHGO, the podcast there from All City, and they're like, who do you think's front runners to win the division? And like, dude, read the room. Like, you're with all these Bears fans, and he says with a straight face, he's like,
in my opinion, they still are the team to beat in the NFC North next year.
He says Green Bay Packers still the team to beat in the NFC North next year, and they absolutely are. Like, obviously, we're getting fantastic news, seeing Tucker Kraft drop on his Instagram. He can't wait to get back, and he says September can't come soon enough. There's a lot of rumors that like, oh, Tucker Kraft's not going to be back until October or November probably. Well, he's out there saying like, I miss it so much and I'm going to be back in September. And you got to remember, this was like one of the hottest teams in football, and injuries decimated the season, but everybody is going to be back who the Packers need. Another thing that drives me bonkers is all of the dudes in their mom's basement, and I'm just in my own basement. It's not my mom, so I'm like a step above there, but they're all saying, oh, the Packers are in cap purgatory and they'll never be able to get out. You're seeing here, like, hey, that isn't even close to the truth. The Green Bay Packers have multiple escape hatches that they can pull, and you're seeing it all over when you actually dive into here. So right now, the Packers are a little bit over the salary cap, but there's some very, very easy moves here that they're going to get the Packers right back in it. So first off, like, we're also hearing that the salary cap is probably going up to $305 million, which is way higher than what was originally predicted there. And Tom Pelissero reported on that. All those subscriptions you're paying to watch the Packers on all these other channels are paying off, I guess, for the Packers having some more money. And so if it goes up to 305, just like that, they're essentially even, because they're only two in the hole right now, with it set at 301. So then on top of it, obviously, we know already without a doubt that Rashawn Gary and Jenkins are both going to get cut. And just doing those two moves alone, you go from even or just a little over the salary cap to all of a sudden you got $30 million to spend, which rockets you into like top 20 in the league when it comes to money to spend. On top of that, there's a couple other really interesting things that the Packers can do. So first off is that they can convert Jordan Love's salary and his signing bonus, and just doing that, like, you are bought in long-term on Jordan Love. He is him, and everybody knows he's him, and nobody knows it better than the Broncos, who we dreaded playing him. And by doing that, you're saving $7 million. So just like that, you're $37 million over in cap space. There's a couple other things they can do. If they are bought in on Aaron Banks, they can also convert his and get another 10. And so by doing that, and then lastly, they could do the same thing with Xavier McKinney, which I think will definitely happen. If I had to make a bet, I would say Love gets the contract kind of converted, and then also Xavier McKinney. So just like that, you're talking the Packers having like $40 million in cap space. And so when you're a free agent, you're trying to decide, like, where should I go? How about you go to the place that has the biggest cheerleader in the NFL? So I could not stand watching more than about 5 seconds of the Pro Bowl. It was a clown show and absolutely abysmal. But the star of the Pro Bowl was Micah Parsons. And that's hard to do when you are in a wheelchair, but you just see an incredible recruiter of talent. And when an NFL player is trying to decide where they go, you have the hallowed stadium of Lambeau. Everybody wants to go there. It's on everybody's bucket list. You've got this cool, unique ownership group that no other team in the NFL has. You've got your franchise quarterback. You have a head coach who is unanimously respected throughout the NFL, and you got Micah Parsons. And so you're seeing him go out and make plays at CeeDee Lamb or at George Pickens, and CeeDee Lamb even comes out and says that, like, hey, they're coming up to George Pickens at at the Pro Bowl right in front of me and trying to steal him to the Green Bay Packers. And just absolutely love that. Like, hey, when you want to see why a free agent's going to go somewhere, it's all about culture and ownership and the head coach and the quarterback, and the Packers are checking the box on all of those things. So there is a weird player who keeps hopping up on all of these predictions for cut candidates. So Bleacher Report puts out a report each year where they make the predictions. Last season, their predictions were about half true. So my hope is that the half that is not true is this Josh Jacobs thing. So there are rumors out there that the Packers could clear up an additional $8.3 million by cutting Josh Jacobs, and I think that would be just a horrible move. I can tell you firsthand, having to prepare for him and play him when he was a Vegas Raider, and even last season, even dinged up playing the Denver Broncos, Josh Jacobs is ridiculous, and you will not find a running back who can make somebody miss in space better than him. And I know, obviously, you look at the EPA and advanced analytics and all of that, and like you could see that the Packers do have a great plan B, but having that two-headed monster and keeping Josh Jacobs here, I think is just a phenomenal thing, and I think the Packers would be very mistaken to move on from Josh Jacobs because he brings the thump each and every time he gets the ball, and we know how injuries work, and relying on one running back just is never the recipe for success. And so I think keep Josh Jacobs unless, and that's a big unless this George Pickens thing is an actual reality. And in that case, Packers need to probably clear up about $20 million in cap space to get him. And I just think that would make all of a sudden this the best receiving room in all of football. Like everybody talks about the Cincinnati Bengals with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but if all of a sudden you're talking Christian Watson and Pickens, watch out, get your popcorn, because that's going to be like must-watch TV. And then on top of that, like whoever the Packers go out and get this year, I can't wait to see Matthew Golden next year, because the Green Bay Packers did an amazing thing, and then it actually hired a above reproach, unanimously respected wide receiver coach who's just got like receipts as long as the Harry Potter novel with what he has been able to do with just improving wide receiver talent. So first off, you just talk about like, oh, where did Christian Watson play? Well, he played obviously for the newest wide receiver coach for the Packers, Noah Pauley here. And so that's phenomenal. And you just look at his track record here, like you're talking Christian Watson, Jaden Higgins, just an absolute stud, Jalen Noel, Aaron Roth, Brett, like he's just got this laundry list of different wide receivers who he has taken to the next level. And so already the Green Bay Packers offense, it's nasty, it's dirty, it's wild, and you got one of the best tight ends in football. I think the ceiling for Christian Watson is through the roof, especially when you lump him in with a coach like this. And so then if you keep Josh Jacobs there, you got Jordan Love, that offense is going to be lights out. And oh yeah, who's one of the best defensive players in all football who's coming back from an injury with something to prove? Micah Parsons on the other side of the ball. And that's why Kyle Long, even when he's not reading the room and he's on a Chicago podcast, is like, yeah, the Green Bay Packers are the team to beat, and they absolutely are, because they've got these escape hatches and have one of the best quarterbacks in football right now in Jordan Love. And I'm just loving watching the cope happening from all these Cowboys fans who were like convinced that Micah Parsons was sad that he was traded, sad to leave Dallas. And then they finally are starting to realize and throw it out on Twitter like, oh, wait, Micah Parsons isn't sad he left, and he's glad he's with the Green Bay Packers because they're watching him in broad daylight try to steal other players to come join the Green Bay Packers. All systems are go, and it is go, Pack, go, because the Green Bay Packers are going to win the NFC North. They're making a deep run in the playoffs. Go, Pack, go.